As many of you are aware, a search warrant was executed on my home on December 21st, 2021. This was the first I became aware of an RCMP investigation into a cybersecurity test that I conducted on the Government of Alberta's COVID-19 vaccination record website earlier that year. I conducted the test after a member of the public raised concerns to me that security vulnerability may exist in the website and that people's personal and private information may be vulnerable to a malicious hacker. Today, I published a white paper revealing how I conducted this test and what that test revealed about the Government of Alberta's information security infrastructure and their ability to protect Albertans against cyber attacks. In the paper, I provided a detailed account of how I conducted my test, including that I used the Premier's birthday and vaccination month as inputs to determine whether a vulnerability existed. My test did not produce the Premier's vaccination record, but it was successful in identifying a security flaw that would have made it possible for malicious actors to do just that. As soon as I discovered the flaw, I immediately stopped the test and reported my findings to the Ministry of Health. In addition to reporting my findings, I provided instructions on how they could quickly fix the security flaw. The RCMP continue to investigate this matter. As of now, I have not been arrested or charged with any criminal offense. Through my counsel, I continue to cooperate with the RCMP and trust that they will handle the matter appropriately. While that investigation proceeds, I will continue to advocate for my constituents and Albertans across this province. My test revealed that the Government of Alberta failed to put into place even the most basic of security measures. Based on my test, and with the ease of which I was able to prove the security vulnerability, I believe the Government of Alberta is not prepared to protect the personal and private information of Albertans against malicious actors. Given the geopolitical climate and our society's increasing reliance on technology and digital information sharing, the Government of Alberta's failure to protect our personal and private health information represents an extreme and unacceptable risk to our digital security. For nearly 2 weeks, the Government of Alberta hosted a website that left Albertans' health information vulnerable to malicious actors. I know the UCP are already using the information I have provided today to attack me, but they should be using this as an opportunity to improve our cybersecurity and ensure Alberta is protected against cyber threats. And next fall, I will give them another opportunity to do that by introducing a private member's bill that, if passed, would establish an Information Security and Cyber Defence Office, establish a Government of Alberta Vulnerability Disclosure Program, and provide a State of the Information Infrastructure report.
Obviously, is a criminal investigation taking place. I am quite shocked today, frankly, by some of MLA Dang's comments here in the last few moments. The reality is MLA Dang did not contact the government, though he seems to be indicating that he did. Yes, somebody from the NDP's staff did contact the government at some point, indicating that they had heard from an anonymous person that there may have been a situation with a website. At no time did they indicate, and the Premier's office will be happy to provide those emails, but at no time did the official opposition or Mr. Dang indicate that it was him who was hacking websites to try to get information. Shortly followed by that, you go through a period of several months where MLA Dang and the official opposition spent almost all of their question period time repeatedly asking about the private health records of members of the legislature. Not once did MLA Dang stand up at that point and say, hey, there's a big problem going on with the website. I think we should deal with that. No, instead, he vigorously and repeatedly focused on trying to get private information about members of the legislature. So if this is so-called ethical hacking, and I've never heard the term before, then why would you do it in the middle of the night and in the dark? MLA Dang has access in an unprecedented way to hold the government accountable as a member of the legislature. He could have risen in the House at any moment and asked the question of the health minister or Service Alberta or any other minister or the Premier himself about a potential problem with the website. Instead, he chose to use personal information to access a website illegally and is now attempting to try to justify this as some sort of process of being an IT expert to try to help the government, when the facts don't relay that in Mr. Dang's actions. He never contacted the government. The NDP did contact the government, indicate that somebody anonymously had had told him there was a problem with the website. Thomas Dang then spends the next several months, he's the ethics commissioner of the NDP, and the next several months rising in the legislature, not telling anybody about this, and repeatedly asking questions about vaccination status and not talking about the security issues. So again, I'll move the motion, or I'll give notice of the motion today, and we'll allow member services to get to the bottom of what's taken place here with Mr. Dang in relation to members and how legislative time has been used. And in addition to that, most importantly, in my mind, what the official opposition knew, when they knew it, and how we're going to make sure that individual members of the legislature's privacy is protected going forward. And I'll just close with this, though. I don't think that it was acceptable for a member of the legislature to stand here today and diminish the fact that a private member of our province record were accessed by a member of the legislature utilizing information about the Premier of Alberta, who happens to be in the opposite political party of the member. And from my perspective, identity theft comes from finding public information about somebody and utilizing them on the internet. The reality is this was not MLA Dang's role. It certainly was not the official opposition's role, and they had every opportunity in the world to raise the security concerns if they had found them in a more appropriate way.